Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer and hello, Adam Lang.
Good morning, Sean.
On weekdays, it's all about the Fast 5, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, though, we're still going to keep it to 5 minutes, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, the one that tends to fly under the radar, the most remarkable story, and our favourite story. So let's get into it. I might kick things off with the biggest story of the week for me. I really think it was the fact that nothing happened at the US Federal Reserve. Yep. Nothing happened on interest rates, and that sent share markets higher, bond yields lower, and the Aussie dollar up 1 US cent. It even helped cryptocurrency leader Bitcoin jump beyond $35,000 a unit. Everyone is watching interest rates, and the Fed's the most important interest rate setting central bank in the world. By leaving rates on hold for 2 months, maybe we're at the end of the interest rate cycle. Australia started about 6 months later. We'll finish our upwards cycle later, possibly after next week. The new info in the past couple of months is that interest rates are going to stay higher for longer. Big story. What about you, Adam?
Sean, today, 50 years after Gough Whitlam's first visit, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, commandeers the Royal Australian Air Force's Boeing business jet for Shanghai and Beijing on a quest to build our relationship with the second biggest economy in the world, China. It'll be the first time an Australian leader has travelled to China since Malcolm Turnbull's trip 7 years ago, and we have seen positive signs recently. In October, detained Australian journalist Chong Li returned to Australia, and China has agreed to review hefty tariffs on Australian wine. We're also hopeful that tariffs on lobster and beef can fall too. The 3-day visit will be focused on developing cultural links, trade and stability in the relationship.
Very exciting that Australia has a role to play with the US and with China, Adam. Let's move on to the most remarkable story. I've got a great one for this one. My most remarkable story is the battle for Origin Energy. Brookfield and EIG partners came this week up their bid to $9.53. What happened? Well, its share price, Origin's share price, fell 6% to $8.47. Why would a share price fall when the bidder ups its offer, particularly when it's already got the okay from the board and the competition regulator? Well, investors aren't sure the offer's enough, particularly enough to convince AusSuper, which owns 14% of Origin. In fact, AusSuper doesn't want to go with the bid. Can they scupper the bid? Possibly. That's why the bid of $9.53 a share resulted in the share price falling to $8.47. Still a long way to go on this one. Some major shareholders will accept the offer. In fact, fund manager Alan Gray said it will vote in favour of it. Remarkable story that you can actually have such a big bid and the share price goes down, Adam.
It sure is, Sean. So sleeper story this week. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, has been accused of misleading the public about the risks of using social media and contributing to a mental health crisis among the young. The claims were made in a federal lawsuit, which was announced by 33 US states. They say the company used addictive features to ensnare users while concealing the substantial dangers of its platforms. Meta said it was disappointed. We've got the BBC to thank for this story. Now, the reason this is a sleeper, and that no matter the outcome, the breadth of this case will make social media platforms think again about their products. And if the USA Attorney General win, well, it's a whole new board game. The lawsuit said Meta had broken consumer protection laws by engaging in deceptive conduct. Meta and other social media companies already face hundreds of lawsuits in the US filed by families, young people and school districts over the impact on mental health. This one marks the biggest action to date.
Going to be very interesting, that one. Let me tell you about my favourite story. Well, it's what I learned about myself because the Zoom wave is a real thing. You know, at the end of a Zoom, Teams or other virtual meeting, you wave. In fact, more than half the population that are using those meetings wave. Experts in human behaviour and communication have argued the Zoom wave emerged due to our need to recreate social connections during COVID. Alternatively, it's a way to signal the meeting's over, or maybe people are just being polite. Anyway, 55% of us are still doing it. That's down from the peak of 75% in COVID. Motor resonance is a key reason for people waving. What's that mean? Well, when one person does it, the rest follow. Also, studies show that we're more likely to be empathetic and cooperative towards people that we've synchronised movements with. I'm definitely a Zoom waver, Adam. What's your favourite story?
Sean, the Albanese government has launched a takedown service, which Australia's Securities and Investments Commission Deputy Chair Sarah Court said removes or limits access to fraudulent and malicious websites. Since July this year, ASIC has disrupted scam activity, shutting down more than 2,100 investment scam and phishing websites, and is in the process of closing 400 more. As Sarah Court put it, this equates to removing 20 dodgy websites a day. In the fight against the international tide of cybercrime, ASIC are now armed with powers to keep us cyber safer. No doubt we have a long way to go to combat these cyber evils, but this is my favourite story of the week. Go the internet safety superheroes, go ASIC.
Oh, I like the way you put that. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business, including the fact that ASIC are superheroes. There you go. Thank you, Adam.
And a cyber wave from me, Sean. Thank you.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Don't forget to hit follow and join us online on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook or X. In fact, all of them if you want. I'm Sean Aylmer and this is the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed.